Hey everyone, it's Mike Maher here. I hope you're well. I'm coming to you from a beautiful sunny day here in Europe, and I wanted to talk about one of the most important aspects of our life and our health, and it's the quality of our sleep. Now, I've struggled with this for years, and my clients that come to me, one of the main reasons that they book in with me is they're just exhausted. They're on the edge of burnout, they're not sleeping properly, or they're waking up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet. And I guarantee that in this list, I bet there's at least one thing that you haven't tried yet that could unlock everything. So I'm going to go through. This isn't your usual list of like boring sleep hygiene things. I'll cover that very, very quickly. This is the stuff that I've implemented and my clients have implemented. So let's just get stuck straight in. So we'll jump into the computer. So these are the 7 ways that I use to boost my own energy and my own sleep and that of my clients as well. Okay, but let's just get the boring stuff out of the way. Now, a reason I put this in is you may not be doing all of these things, and these are what I consider the real basics. So making sure your room temperature's good, not having any caffeine in the afternoons, and the hot showers and bath before bed are really, really good. Alcohol kills deep and nourishing sleep, so we've got to get rid of that, I'm afraid. Consistent bedtimes have been spoken about as one of the most important things for sleep. Having the bedroom dark at night, earplugs, I use them all the time. I've got a 2-year-old in my bedroom. And don't look at the clock if you wake up. So these are the basics, okay? This is not what we're here to talk about today, but I wanted to put these in because you might not be doing some of them, and these by themselves might just prove some value. So let's get stuck into the good stuff. So it is fair to say that we are living a very different life from our ancestors. Even me right now, okay, I've made myself be outside, but we are sitting a lot. We're not moving enough. We're not in tribes. We're not communicating enough. Some of the best sleep I ever got when I was walking a Camino, a walk in Spain many years ago. I was with a group of people. I was out there. I had doors all day. Felt fantastic. We thrive in communities, and we just need to acknowledge that we're living in the most overstimulated time that we've ever been in. Okay, we've got as many choices as we've ever had, and okay, life quality is so much better in terms of we've got more amenities than the King of France had like 200 years ago. But what's the price that we've paid for that with all this stimulation? And it's killing us. It's killing our health. It's wrecking our sleep. And today I want to kind of unwind some of that for you and give you a ton of value. Okay. So I read a book a couple of years ago. The guy was called Misiu Walker. I'll just read the quote out. And he said, "Scientists have discovered a revolutionary new treatment that makes you live longer, enhances your memory, and makes you more creative. It makes you look more attractive. It keeps you slim. It lowers food cravings. It protects you from cancer and dementia. It wards off colds and flu. It lowers your risk of heart attacks and strokes, not to mention diabetes. You'll even feel happier, less depressed, and less anxious. Are you interested?" So he's being playful here. We know we're talking about sleep. Imagine this was a pill that had all of this with no side effects. Imagine how big that company would be. It's not a pill. It's the quality of our sleep. That book changed everything for me. It made me prioritize my sleep because I really was one of these people. I'll sleep when I'm dead. And even in that book, he addresses that. He's like, yeah, because that'll come around a bit sooner for you. So we know sleep is important. It's got so much press over the last decade. But what are some of these cool things that we can dip into? Okay, so you're on a breathing channel right now. I'm going to start off with some breath. It's not all breath stuff, but we need to talk about the breath. So we're going to do that a bit here as well. So why breathe through your nose? Well, look, there's a couple of things going on here. The nose is the gateway to the respiratory system, and it moistens the air and cools the air and slows the air down and slows the breath down. And it's really important that we're not mouth breathing at night because it's going to dehydrate us. It's more likely that we're going to wake up. In the book Breath, the author James Nestor wrote about something called vasopressin, and when we're not breathing properly, that's not being triggered correctly, and that's making us go for more pees in the night. So if you want to pee less and sleep deeper and wake up more refreshed, then try mouth taping. The reason I put these on here, one of my mentors, Patrick McEwen, created a mouth tape that goes around the lips, which is really cool because some people feel a little bit panicky when they tape their mouth up. But I've added the nasal strips on. I'm giving you your gold here, by the way. Most people mouth tape, but they don't put the nasal strips on. And the nasal strips give you so much more space in the nose. So do both. Give it a go. Very, very safe. This alone could be an absolute game changer for your sleep quality. Okay. One of the top UFC fighters, I found a little clip of his, and he says, "I mouth tape more religiously than anything else I do." This is Sean O'Malley, and he's top athlete, and he's talking about mouth tape being one of the most important things that he does. So if you haven't done it, give it a go. If you have done it in the past but you've not done it for a while, then give it a go again and see what that does for you. Okay. The second one, look at where I am right now. Get outside a lot. Things have got very weird, and we've accepted that being indoors is normal, and it's not. Okay, so I've interviewed a ton of people on this. Most notably is a neurosurgeon called Dr. Jack Cruz, and he does all his podcasts outside. And as you watch this channel, you'll notice more and more of the content is being filmed in beautiful places like this. But just being outside makes a huge difference. Think of yourself more like a plant. We're not a rubber plant or a plastic plant. We're a real life thing, and we get energy from the sun. And this was always the case up until very recently, where we flipped things around, and now we're indoors way more than we're outdoors, and we'll come to indoors in a second. But Dr. Andrew Huberman spoke about the power of getting out in the morning and getting this pulse, this light that comes through the eyes, kicks off our circadian rhythm or sleep rhythms, and means that about 12 hours later we'll start to produce melatonin, one of the sleepy hormones. But I would take it a step further and say you need to be outside more, even if it's a cloudy day, especially if it's a cloudy day. And I think, well, I'm near a window, and of course the window is better than nothing, but the glass is unfortunately filtering out some of those beautiful wavelengths. So we want to be outside as much as possible. And the question to you would be, so how much are you outside right now? And whatever it is, I'm going to say this to you, these are rookie numbers, okay? Whatever they are, whatever your numbers are right now, let's get them up. When I speak to clients and I say, well, how long are you outside? They typically say an hour. And when I drill them on it, it's about 20 to 30 minutes. They go into the car, they go to work, they go to the shop, they might go for a walk. But the actual amount of daylight is very, very low. I've personally put myself through this process this year. My mood has never been higher. My energy levels have never been better. And my sleep quality has improved even more than it had before. And the only thing I've shifted is getting outside. Got a standing desk at home. I'm on a cheap, very, very cheap plastic table here. My shoes and socks are off. I don't know if you can see my feet. And I'm grounded, and I'm just having a really good time. Now, of course, you live in different places. Maybe it's not always the case. We can always get out for a walk. We can always put a coat on. So getting those numbers up would be the next thing I would suggest. Okay. The third point links very deeply into point two. And I got this from a sleep specialist that I interviewed on the podcast. And she said, get your vitamin D levels checked. And I had no idea vitamin D was so connected to sleep quality. And so again, I'm not a doctor, but I always say to my clients, have you had your vitamin D levels checked recently? Because it might just be the thing. And there's loads of studies on this, that vitamin D is associated with poor sleep and sleep disorders. And so a very inexpensive test can tell you where your vitamin D level is, and then you can figure out, do you want to supplement or do you want to get outside more? Often I'll have my shirt off and I'll try and get some daylight on it, or got my legs out or my face out. If we've just got our head out, we're going to really struggle to get a lot of vitamin D. So very linked into that, get your vitamin D levels checked regularly, especially winter and summer as well. Now, this next one is a bit of a cheeky one. It comes from Dr. Cruz again, the neurosurgeon I mentioned, and he calls artificial light an alien sun. I was like, what are you talking about? Because we've created this weird artificial light, this LED. Says it's killing our mitochondria. The blue light's disrupting our sleep. It's a real problem. And so if you look at this, like, that is a very beautiful view. That looks very nice. It looks very, very, very relaxing. But actually, all that light's so weird for a body. If it's 10 o'clock at night, you wouldn't expect all that light to be flooding into your body. It hugely disrupts our sleep quality. And so let's get the place darker. Let's get this light is really not helping us get that good sleep. Okay. So you might be exhausted because of that. Now I use Raw Optics lights. I'll put a link down below. Raw Optics glasses. I've got the red ones I use and the yellow ones. And there's science to show that we can protect our eyes from this alien sun, this artificial light. And you can find different ways of doing this. I also like to play with my phone color. So you'll notice this is the standard kind of red on the phone that you get, but I've gone a step further. And I've gone for this dark red. So even if I don't have my glasses on, I've reduced the blue light that's coming out the phone, which means I can still scroll. We all look at our phones in the evening, don't we? We all check text messages. We're not monks, we're not nuns. But we do need to make that technology work for us, and that's a good way to do that. Okay. So we're almost there. There's a couple left. I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, leave me a comment below. Let me know like what maybe has been your biggest problem with sleep, or what's been one of the biggest things that I've helped. And if you are enjoying it, give us the old classic thumbs up, because it just helps spread this message with other people. We really thought, well, what's real good value we can share today? Okay, so dinner. So stop eating dinner. Now, with all of this, I'm being playful, and you've got to find what works for you, because we're all unique and different. That's the biggest thing I've learned from 10 years of research in breathwork now, is we're all on a unique path. So stop eating dinner. What the hell is he talking about here? Okay, so this guy here is Brian Johnson. He's a very interesting character. He is apparently getting younger every year now. He's checking all his biological, chronological age stuff. He's spending millions of dollars on his health. But the reason I've pulled him up for this slide is he says something very, very interesting. He has a Whoop, which measures his sleep score. He's got one of the best sleep scores on the planet, and he is constantly looking at how he can keep that score up, and he tested lots of different things. And he tested when he could have his last meal in the day and what that would do to his sleep score. So he tested all these different times. I always say to my clients, have a guess, when's he having his last meal? And they say, 6 p.m. Some go, 4:30 p.m. I even have one say 3 p.m. And winced a little bit. And the actual answer is 11 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. around that time. And it always blows people's minds. So he has tested what's affecting his sleep in terms of digestion. And he needs that much space for his body to digest, so he gets the sleep score. Now, I'm not suggesting you go off there and start having breakfast for lunch and then you quit your day off. But what I am asking you to think about here is, like, when do you have your last snack? When do you have your last meal? And is there any way of pulling that back a little bit? Because the more space you give yourself, the more you've digested, the more resources your body has to help you get that deep, nourishing sleep and stay asleep. So just have a think about Brian. Don't go as extreme as him, but there are ways to obviously bring that back. Very, very interesting there, old Brian. Okay. The bed is for sleep and McLovin. The bread is for sleep and loving. It is not for scrolling, man. And look, we've all been here. This is mental. The fact that we just scroll at night and we're getting this dopamine rush. I interviewed a neurosurgeon called TJ Power a little while ago. And he's saying, look, you go to bed and your bed's associated, it should be associated with sleep and loving your partner and all these good things. And instead it's like, we'll just scroll on our phones and we'll just jack ourselves up with all this dopamine, and eventually we'll pass out and our brain's on high alert and the blue light's got us. Like, it's mental. It's like, if I wanted to set myself up for crazy sleep, I would do this. So you've got to find ways, and I'll give you a couple of tips how I do this now. I still have my phone in my bedroom. I don't charge it because that's not meant to be very good for us. But what I will do is I'll have an audiobook and I'll put my phone on red mode, and I'll have a little headphone, and as I'm falling asleep, I'll just pause the audiobook and it's on airplane mode. I try to stick to fiction, because non-fiction could be quite activating as well. And that makes a big difference. So think about how you can move things around a little bit. Okay. And of course, the last one is breath work. Now, what is breath work? Well, it's the art of changing how you breathe for a short period of time. Very different to breathing. Breathing is what we're doing when we're not thinking about it. But with breath work, there are so many ways to help us get into sleep mode. So first things, don't do anything activating. Don't do any fast breathing, any Wim Hof breathing, any breath of fire. Stay away from all that sort of stuff. Everything should be slow and mellow and gentle and relaxing. And so we want to be doing breath work that's really chilled. A couple of examples: 4-7-8 breathing, slow box breathing, coherence breathing, left nostril breathing. What else is there? Humming. There's loads of them. Play with it. Your body is different to mine, and you're going to respond differently to different breathing exercises. And so what I really suggest, this is what I talk to all my clients about, is we've got to find what's right for you. So play with different breathing techniques as much as possible. And that's it. That's the checklist. So breathe through your nose, get outside as much as you can, get your vitamin D levels checked, kill that alien sun, stop eating dinner, have a breakfast. The bed is for sleeping and loving, and do breath work and play with it. So these things, although it's just a list and it might not sound like much, if you take some time to play with these, I promise you it'll improve your sleep. And if you improve your sleep, everything else in life gets better as well. You have more energy, more focus, more vigor, more vitality. It is so important to get that sleep. Don't put it off. Don't think, yeah, I'll scroll to the next video. Make a note of these things and give them a go. Now, if you like what you've heard here, there's a link down below where you can click on a page, and you can basically, I'm going to just be upfront, is to see if you want to work with me, if you'd like my help. So as a coach, I can hold your hand and take you step by step through this and all the other processes. So if you are burnt out, if you are exhausted, if you are sleepy, if you're not feeling like yourself, if you feel like something's wrong, then click the link or not. Have a look if you're interested. If you're not interested, keep scrolling, keep looking things. But I would love to have a conversation with you. So the link is down below. So that's it. Thank you so much. Let me know in the comments how you found it. And I look forward to maybe speaking to a couple of you on a call about potentially helping you get this solved forever with my help. All right. Cheers.